Hello, hello. This is a test for the audio. Hey, we have a viewer here. Welcome. Ah, that's me. right. Okay, cool. This all seems pretty well. Let me quickly check the sound again. Hello there and welcome to BEEMAN.DEV Saturday night live stream. And tonight actually, I'm gonna play around with Angular, with PrimeNG, formerly in an NX workspace. So PrimeNG, let's take a quick look at what that is for those of you who don't know it. By the way, I'm also trying out StreamYard to do my stream. Just figuring it all out, figuring out my setup. You'll see a logo right there in the corner, but I'm fine with that. So let's take a look at PrimeNG. This one over here. So PrimeNG is a component library for Angular, the ultimate UI component library for Angular. And I worked with it before, but I haven't played with it for quite a while. So I figured it would be nice to just go ahead and explore what it's all about. Use things like their Flexbox, their grid, a few of their components. So yeah, let's see. Thought about building some sort of chat UI. So sidebar and some elements, but let's first get some basic layout started in an NX workspace and we'll take it from there. So in order to do that, I'm gonna say yarn create NX workspace and I'm gonna give this a name. Let's call it beehive chat, I'd say. And we're going to create an empty workspace with NX CLI, and we're going to say yes to the NX Cloud Cache. So this is now installing. Might take a while, but that's okay. There's no viewers already anyway, and I'll cut it out in the live one, or I might not. So yeah, a few days back I started to stream, and it's been super interesting to do. Technical challenges that were a bit, well, unknown to me, but from now it looks like StreamYard works pretty well. So let's go, app got created. Let's start our IDE. And wait till it loads up the project. Now this is just your standard NX workspace, and we're going to add the dev dependency at narwhal/Angular, which is their Angular plugin. And once we have this installed, we're going to create an app. And I think I'm going to call the app Chat, I'd say. Not the most creative mood at this moment, so let's just stick with straightforward stuff. So we're going to say NX generate at narwhal Angular app, and we give it our name Chat. We're going to pick SCSS, yes to routing, and then in the meanwhile, I'm going to take a look at the documentation from PrimeNG, like what I need to do in order to install it. Seems straightforward enough. Let's see if I can change the music a little bit. I'm gonna get some more beat in here. There we go. Makes it easier to wait. So if you're joining and you think the music is too loud or my voice is too low or the opposite, just let me know. If you're watching this on a recording, then there's not so much you can do. I'm not sure why this is taking so long. Let me also pop open my computer's activity monitor. This is why it's taking so long. Computer's busy. There we go. So that created our chat application in the apps folder, updated workspace JSON and NX JSON, the project metadata. A little bit down on the music. So we now have a chat app, and we can say NX serve chat. And that should start it on port 4200. And then I think I'm just going to have it on the side here. Let me grab a browser window. There we go. Okay, let me see if I can drag it in here. And there we go. Okay, awesome. Getting a bit tight here, but think I'm okay with it for now. And let's, for good measures, also just directly configure prettier. Like this. Then yarn format write all. This formats everything. And in yet another window, I'm going to say husky and lint staged. I'm going to add those here. So we have automatic formatting on commit. So this formatted the code base. So this should now be free of semicolons. Let's quickly check. Yay, just how I like it. That's good. This one can be done with. While that's loading, let us get so let's open package.json. And inside package.json, we're going to add the husky and lint stage keys. So let's get those out of the history here. And this is what I generally run with. But I say yarn format -- uncommitted. There we go. Say yes to this one. I think that's it for now. Cool. So once that's in place, we can now store the changes and say create chat app. And then we're going to create a remote repository on GitHub and call it BEEMAN.DEV chat. The changes to there. Checking is afterwards. You want to see it. It lives at BEEMAN/BEEMAN chat. And if all is well, I should keep that there. So let's see. Yeah, server still running. It's time to generate a UI library. That's what I generally do. And this UI library, let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to say nx generate marble angular lib called UI, mark it as publishable, set the style to SCSS. I don't really care about the directory because for now this is just going to be an Angular project. And prefix it with UI. So let's go. Needs to have an import path. Okay, yes. So let's say import path at let's say Hive chat. Skip that one. Cool, and while that's created, we can already stop this one because the server will not find anything from there anyway.
Nothing but space and time. I wanna keep our world alive. I do believe in my mind that we will find a way. Oh yeah, ain't gonna force it if it ain't right. But I would love if you stay tonight.
Now let's take a look in the meanwhile here and see if we can check what we need to do. So installation seems simple enough. Installing the PrimeNG and the Prime icons, dependencies, load configuration. So in our case, this is all going to happen from the UI module. So I always like to be able to abstract libraries, third-party libraries like this. And okay, so then we need to have the styles and one of these themes. Let's quickly take a look. Bootstrap, material compact, prime one, proper themes. And then we have a bunch of legacy. Let's take a look at these ones. The theme switcher here. If I'm not mistaken. Wow. And let's get some form elements on the screen. So take a look at this. This looks pretty good. And let's see. These are the real dark themes. You want to have a more bluish theme. There's a sidebar. Ah, there you go. I'm pretty happy with what I see here. This looks pretty well thought out and pretty decent. So let's go with the yellow accent, I think, on gray. I think that can be nice. After all, we're the beehive, right? So have some yellow references is not going to be bad. This is done. Now, can verify that we have a UI library being created here, and that if we load this one from our app module right here, then we should see that the dev server starts. UI module gets imported from BEEMAN.DEV/UI, and this is probably the TypeScript server that is not up to date. So let me restart TypeScript service here and change the music again. This is too noisy. Let me pick another channel. Yeah, so restarting the TypeScript server helped. We can now just find our libraries right here. So this is the place where we're going to load PrimeNG, and you can at least get rid of this whole app component and actually also the app CSS, because I'm going to go with an inline template here. For now, just say hello PrimeMG. Save this, and we can start that server again. ng serve chat. Let me quickly do something about the music. Okay, back to the more chill mood again. I like myself some house, but I don't like vocals that much, specifically when I'm coding, even less so when I'm talking and coding. So there we go. Okay, this should now render a hello world, or hello PrimeNG. Let's start by installing the dependencies. Up here, yarn add PrimeNG and prime icons. And probably the most visible thing we can do easily is add a simple button. So let's take a look at the button pages. So this is what the components look like, and it looks like you can either use an element or a directive. So let's go over this together in the documentation. So we're going to find button here. I love myself a good button. And these are all the variations that you have. And then if we look at how we use them, we can use them with a regular button tag and apply this directive onto it. Or we can have a proper component. And it looks like this is more of the style that material design uses as well. I tend to use this one if I build my own component libraries, so I'll probably go with that for now. And we'll see how it goes. So while that's all installing, it already found the Angular module, so it should be able to import this. Now let's take a look, because this is imported in the app module, but we want to have this in the UI module. So let's open that module. Okay, UI module. And inside my UI module, what I'm going to do there is add a PrimeNG module. So I'm just going to say new file prime-ng.module.ts. And from here we're going to say export class PrimeNG module, and we're going to decorate it with the ng module decorator. And here is where we're going to load, import and export our modules that we're getting from PrimeNG. So let's just say imports, exports, and I think I'm gonna store the modules here in an array and simply destructure that array for now. So we don't have to reference them twice. Okay, cool. Installation seems to be done. Yeah, this, you cannot find it, but we will get to that right away. Because if we now say button module and get that one from PrimeNG, then if we save this thing and actually use this PrimeNG module inside our UI module, so let's say PrimeNG module, and export it, then we might very well have a button. It doesn't appear yet. Let's open the console. We have no errors there. Get rid of this one for a second and then go back to our application. App component, yes, let's get rid of these two. We no longer need those. No clicks, no buttons. There you go. Awesome. It looks like there's the on-click handler. Let's simply create a method and log out hello there. See if that works. That's the first button. This is super straightforward. Okay, super predictable. That's good. I like that. So let's give this one a router outlet. Router outlet, and that's the only thing that we're going to do inside the app component, at least for now, and very likely forever, ever. So another thing, let's quickly get this button back, because one of the things I forgot to do is add the styling. So let's not worry about this click button, but the 3 unstyled buttons, and we of course need to go to the getting started guide and not forget about adding the styles. So the CSS dependencies are as follows: prime icons, load the theme of your choice, and structural CSS components. So let's get started with this one. Open the styles as CSS inside our chat application. Oh, what am I doing now? That was chaotic. Let's get back here. We need to have 3 lines to the clipboard and paste them in here. The other one's there. Okay. And so what we want to do is say add imports, then take the tilde sign and finish them off with a dot comma, and there you go. Now we have the Saga Blue theme, and then if we go back to themes here, or click the one in the sidebar, and we can see the one that I wanted was not Saga Blue, but Adia Orange. Adia Orange. There you go. Oh, Arja Orange. Arja Orange. And I like to have a dark theme. Thought it was dark. I might have to add a layout. That might very well be the case. Let's have a look. Let's, for now, get back to the app. Get rid of these buttons and commit the changes up until now. So in a new terminal, we're going to say create UI module PrimeNG. And now it's time to create some pages. So I'm going to add a library pages. Make it publishable as CSS. Don't care about the directory. The import paths is going to be beehive-chat/pages. And the prefix is going to be page. I think we'll probably not use any of those, but hey, let's just set a prefix. Cool, this goes a whole lot faster. So for good measures, this created the Pages app, and inside here we're going to lazy load everything. Let's just create a router module for child. Add routes here. Create a const routes of type routes, which is an empty array. Which is, I think, the only thing we need for now. And then I'm going to use this awesome way to create a module with a route, lazy load it, and create a component for that as well. So let's create a page called home. I'm going to create the module home inside the project pages. There's this module manager. This is probably pages, min route, and there's this route is home. And let's try run this. Yeah, this seems to be valid. I don't really like this external the external CSS and HTML. I'm more a inline template type of guy, but hey, I'll run with it for now. So let's not dry run. There you go. And then it should have created a lazy loading route. There you are. And for good measures, let's create an about page. About. And we'll see that this created for us 2 routes that we can both now visit once we lazy load this one. So inside our app router, let's see, inside here, up a bit, comes routes, type routes. And what we're going to do here is say path nothing, load children, import at beehive chat / pages, but then m.pages module. Now normally this kind of would work, and then if we'd say let's have a redirect route, so path match full, no path, redirect to home. This would normally work, but we didn't restart the dev server. And because we have a change in the ps config, we need to restart the dev server for these to take place. So let's say nx serve chat. So home works, there we go. And we can now say home about. That's nice. So this might be a good moment to check out how we're going to get some navigation and just basically how we get a main layout working. So in order to get that, what I'd like to do is register component here. Let's just generate it. A component called layout. We're going to add it to the project UI, the module UI. And we're going to have inline template and inline style, and I'm going to dry run it and see that this creates the shape how I want it. Yes, it does. Let's get rid of dry run and execute the command. There we go. Now we have a layout module, and what this layout module will do is have a router outlet. This is what we'll route our components to. It needs to import the router module. We can get rid of styles. We can get rid of the whole body here. And what we basically want here generally is have some header. Have header here. And then have footer here. Footer. And this is our layout. And then if we go to our app modules, we can sandwich that around our application. So we're going to say empty path component here is UI layout component. We'll import it in a second. And here the children will behold these items. Now if we import it right now, it will not work. It's called layout component, so that's one reason why it didn't work. Another reason is that it wants to import it here from the whole full path, and this is not what I want. I like it to import from here. So let's go here, and we're going to see that once we go here, we end up with one single file. This is the module. So let's also export the layout, and then now we can import it from where I want to import it, beehive chat /UI. And if all went well, we see that we got the homepage is sandwiched by the header and the footer. It's really Saturday night. It's quiet everywhere. I like that. So this one. And with this, we have a header and footer. So let's take a quick look back at Prime Faces and see how they actually talk about doing layouts. Remember that I haven't worked with this system for a few years. I think last time I checked it was about 2 years ago. Needs browser animation for various components. Theming is not really what I'm interested in. PrimeFlex. Let's see if I can just get like a navigation, a header, menu. That'd be fine if it's called menu. This is more like a side menu, menu bar. So this is something that we could use for the main navigation. I like this. I like this. And yeah, let's start out with that one. Get that one in the header. So for this, for the menu bar, it takes an array of items. I love that. So inside here, let me open up terminal and generate a header component. Header component in the project UI. Here we go. And if we open up layout component here, we can now use UI header. Shouldn't need to import because it's coming from the same module and it says header works. Okay, now we can implement the PrimeNG header here. And in order for that, what I'm going to do is get these two, import these two inside our PrimeMG module. And add them here to the modules list. And frankly, at this moment, we can get rid of the button. So let's do that. It doesn't seem to work as expected. It's not a module. So menu bar module. And then, right, the menu item is the type. I like that. So let's start with this. Inside here, copy over this menu structure they have. Make sure that this gets imported from PrimeNG API. And then the way they use the say P menu bar with a model that is the array of items. So let's start out here. P menu bar. And there we go. It works. I was not paying attention. But that looks nice. And it's responsive by default, as we can see. So that's also pretty nice. It looks decent. I'm positively impressed by what I see. Let's for a second move to a different window. Like, for instance, here, and open the new tab to this dev server. Yeah, and then we can see it just takes the normal position if it's not responsive. So that's nice. Let's see if there's something for the footer. It might not be, it might just be me simply creating a footer. Do you have a footer as example? Yeah, they have like a very similar thing to the nav bar. Might just be a menu bar. Searching for footer doesn't do anything. You know what, for now I'm just going to create a simple footer component and run with a simple message that says some copyright statement, footer. Create a footer component. Okay. Close this one out. In layout, we're going to just say UI footer. And the contents of this thing is small. Say copyright. And do the copyright symbol. 2020. Don't need any of this. Nice. And then in the header, let's actually go ahead and add some real items. So what I'd like to see here is, first of all, a label home. And then we want to route to it. There you go, router link. We can just say router link to /home. And some sort of icon. Yes, some sort of icon, home. About, and let's do the same thing here. Out. It's generally something like info. And don't get any errors. And we have the home and about. We didn't guess well on any of the icons, but let's not worry too much about that. And I'm gonna take, hey, hello, healthy, happy horse riding family. There's somebody in the chat. Yes, I'm here. I'm live. Welcome to the chat. I'm so glad that somebody got here. Okay, so it turns out I need to add a few classes to get the icons to work. I'm happy with that. So let's see if this works. Get back to the page, home and info, cool. So these are our two icons, and now we should be able to browse through the two pages, which works as expected. So cool. Let me move back to the header here. Get rid of all the things we don't want. Actually, I don't really see a reason to do this in NG on it. So I'm just going to reassign it here. Get rid of list of items. Hey there, James. Welcome. Nice to see you. So, well, for those of you tuning in, I'm playing around with PrimeNG, component library for Angular. And I called it chat. I want to eventually build some sort of chat system, a chat UI. But I'm first going to check out if I like PrimeNG and if I can do with it what I want to be. So James asked, what happened with Twitch? That's a very good question. Basically, I'm still figuring out what I want to do with my streams. So I'm trying various apps on various platforms. And I did a few streams on Twitch with Ecamm Live, and I had quite blurry results. So my videos are quite hard to watch. Yeah, and I'd like these videos to be useful for people. So I'm trying out some various tools here. I'm now running with StreamYard, as you can see right there in the top, and doing it on YouTube. So let's gonna see how that ends up. I think a benefit of YouTube is also that I can just leave the video there and publish it, so I don't have to cut it up and edit it here. So, but there we go. I want to check out what more I want to add, because like this mega menu, it looks super nice, but I don't really need it. I might need a menu like the sidebar. I want to have a tree at some point so I can show the sidebar. So the idea is mimicking Discord. So get a sidebar with a few channels, a main bar where you can chat, and well, that kind of stuff. switch between them, maybe get some backend, wire that all up. Now my first impression of PrimeNG is that it looks super decent, and what I really like is that they seem to provide a template-driven and a programmatic API, and this is what I really appreciate. I prefer to work with the programmatics APIs when possible. Yeah, so they just expose a tree node and I can do tree nodes. So why don't I go ahead and leave this for a second and just go here and make a commit. And what did I do? Add base layout. And then for now, it's time to build on the chat window. The application I'm using here is already called chat. It's clear that I didn't prepare this, otherwise I might have called it differently, but take a look at config.json here, we can see that I have one application called chat, and the library called UI and a library called pages. And what I'm gonna do for the main interface here is gonna, I think, message a library called message or messages. I think message list, message tree, message categories. I'll run with it. So I'm gonna create a library here, message, mark it publishable, basically take all the defaults, have a prefix called message, and set an import path to messages. Also message. And once that's there, we can immediately start looking at the components I want to create there. So for the messages, I think I only need one main view with a few components, mainly the sidebar and the main bar, and then those in turn will be cut up. So yeah, I don't think we all know what a chat screen looks like, a chat application, so there's little need for me to go ahead and pull up Discord. Let's see, let's do a lazy loaded page again. And that's going to be the command I had before, the same how I generated the about page. So this is going to be pages slash call it main. In the project message, in the module message, and have a route called chat. Let's run with that. Message module not found. Alright, I cannot find the route declaration. So what I need to do here in the message module is say const routes equals routes. It's an empty array and say router module for child, passing that routes. And then when I run the same command, it should work. There you go. Now what I want to do here is, well, not so much actually. I'm fine with what's happening here. Let's go to app module. Add a lazy loaded route to this chat screen. And in our header, add it to the icons. Call it chat. And let's guess that this is messages. So this doesn't load. There must be something wrong, and the thing that's wrong is I didn't restart the dev server. That's one thing that's wrong. Or did I? Ah, this is wrong. I obviously need to import message and then message module, and then I need to restart the dev server. Yep. Start the chat app again. How's the sound? How's the music, James? Is it good? Or like the beats? Then we have the main chat screen, so that's nice. I'm now going to go ahead and quickly figure out what an icon for this thing is. So let's search for icon, Prime Icons 4.0. And just give me them list. So I'd like to have something searchable. I can probably search through this more archaic way, but message chat. I like them, but I would love to see a list of them. I'm glad you like it, James. I'm using royalty-free beats for streaming on Spotify. Turns out there's a lot of royalty-free music for streaming, which is pretty cool. Searching icons right here on the website. Message, chat, text. I'm not sure. What more can I search for? Let's go with inbox for now. So now we have icons here. This is that, and go ahead and create initial message library. So back here, let's take a look at documentation again, because I want to achieve a sidebar, and I saw something related to layout. I'd probably go for looking at the grid system. Get a sip of water. So what I'm actually looking at is like similar to how they do it here, fixed with column, I think, what I like. 100 pixel, I think. So this looks very similar to Bootstrap. I like that. I'm most used to Bootstrap. I've mostly used Bootstrap for my most recent project. And I like how predictable it is, how boring it is. Let's go to the chat screen here and see if I need to import something. In order to use this, I probably need to get this flex set up. There we go. And here with setup PrimeFlex, and I need to download these things. That's pretty nice actually, because it looks like you can also use this PrimeFlex without PrimeNG. It might be an interesting, nice tool for the box. Yarn add, PrimeFlex. And then I need to add PrimeFlex /primeflex.css to our imports. And you can even selectively include it. That's also what I like. Good, cool. So for now, go to style.scss. One second. Sorry. Style.scss, and in here, import this route. There we go. Hey there, Steve. Glad to see you. Good that you're here. I now got 2 viewers. I love it. Playing around with PrimeNG inside an NX workspace here, just to give you some context. And I'm currently trying to get the grid system to work. Let's see if how this looks like on my other machine. Oh, don't you just love the compiling ES 2015 to ESM 2015? So yeah, I figured I'd start to experiment a little bit with PrimeNG, and I thought, why not just live stream it? So I can figure out how StreamYard works, if it works well. Get some experience with streaming on YouTube right away. Plus, I get some interesting content to work on later. And once it works and I like it, I might do a more official stream. There we are. We have a grid. That's good. So let's see how I can set the grid to have a small sidebar and a larger main area. So what I'm looking at was grid system, and then basically doing something like this, where there's a fixed sidebar with a fixed amount of pixels, and then the rest of it is auto. All right. Not sure if they have the demo code here. Is this the source? Yes, this looks like the source. 100 px. Fixed width column. Going back to here, pasting this in, and then, yep, this seems to be what I like. Okay, I'm gonna run with it. Getting rid of this one. And now in my main component, what I'm probably gonna do is quite naively add more, add a components folder. Let's go to this message thing. I got a page main, so I want to have a components folder right here, and then component sidebar, component messages, I'd say. So create a component sidebar in the project message. Let's call it actually channels. Should I call it channels? I'm just YouTube only, Steven. Let me be a good host and pop up the question. No, I'm YouTube only right now. I just want to figure it out. Might be better to do multicasting, by the way. Next time. That's a good idea. So channels or sidebar. I'm gonna go with sidebar, more generic. We might pop up more stuff in the side than just channels. Project message registered in the module message, and give me them inline stuff. Do dry run, see if it's happy. It's not happy. I'm not happy. Let's make it components / sidebar, and that should give me, yep, what I'm happy about. So getting rid of dry run. And then inside the components, I got a message dash sidebar. That's going to be here. I need to export it and re-import it. But that should do it. Sidebar works. And then let's quickly create components messages right here. And then that has a bit uglier name, message dash messages. For now. Cool, so this is our main layout, and then next up is look at the tree module here inside the sidebar. So inside the sidebar, I want to have a tree here, and this is where it should show a list of channels that people can pick. And let's first just go over here and search for tree. I need to quickly check if I don't actually want to use a tree table. I don't think I do. But you never know. No, I don't want this. This is what I want. I really like that they offer types for the things that they have, for their components. So let's pick up tree module here, and inside our PrimeNG module, one thing called tree module. So import, export tree module. Why is this not happy? It's not an Angular module. Depends on the CDK. I probably need to install this one first. Let's go ahead and add CDK. I would have expected a more descriptive error message, and it's not an Angular module, but let's see if this fixes it. So this is what we want to add in a little bit. Already prepare it up here. Just comment it out. And once the recompilation is done, I'm going to start it up and to see how we can get this tree in. And what I can already do is start copying over this data structure. So this is the structure that we're looking at. And let's just copy over this whole object, get the array out of it in my editor. Let's not worry too much about the dynamic nature. Let's just add a list of channels to the sidebar for now. These will, of course, at some point need to come from the back end. Let's just say items equals and get rid of all this. So items is an array, and this is called tree node array. And then I hope we can do top level items that are not foldable, that are not expandable. Let's actually check it out right away. So what we want to have is a label. Let's call it general. Not sure what this is about. Expand icon, collapse icon. looks like it all needs groups. Well, let's see where we go. So anytime now, Angular CLI, please. There you go. It was only 167 seconds. NX serve chat. Now when that loads, I should have a sidebar and a main bar. Thanks, Steven. Thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Catch you later, buddy. So yeah, James asks a good question. I've missed that earlier, but is this a chat app for you and your streams? Not particularly. So I thought it might be interesting to start doing streams about how to rebuild certain UIs, and I figured let's try and do a rebuild of the Discord UI at some point. So I think that's a nice use case, and in order to prepare for that, for myself also to learn something new, I figured I'm not going to use Bootstrap or Angular material that I generally use, but I'm going to try something new. So this is more like an experiment. I might do another stream like this where I'm just going to experiment with end design for Angular. Basically, my only requirement is that there is a Formly integration for, because I do want to use Formly. So I'm looking at Bootstrap material, PrimeNG, Kendo, Ionic might be an option, build it in Ionic. But yeah, just have some sort of chat app with a sidebar with some messages, and who knows what we're going to wire it up to. So I need P3 object, so let's add that one to the sidebar here. P3, and for that I need to import tree module and say these are the items. Let's first see if this renders. This renders. I'm happy with that. Let's get rid of these ones and let's take a look right here. Okay, but I do need to give it some more space. So in the layout module, the layout component actually, in the main component, what I need to do is give this some more space. So let's see, say 250. There we are. So to make this look a bit more realistic, what I need to do is have some categories inside the sidebar and some channel names. So let's do it this way. So one thing that I like about having a definition like this is that you can create simple helper methods that will render out channels, or render out items basically. So if we look at it, we have like a child item, label data, label icon data, and then this also has label data as children. So this is a really nice opportunity, I think, to make some helper methods that just basically output tree nodes in this case. So let's go here and add a label, and then what I think in Discord happens, in Discord the hashtag is just part of the name, so that's good. Then I'm gonna call this rules. Rules. Suggestions. Let's create a water cooler, because why not? And this should be similar to what I'm after. It's kind of ugly. It's not because I'm zoomed in. Another thing I probably want to do, want to start out with, is get rid of my HTML and body padding. HTML body padding 0. So this goes more like full screen. It's not the case. So what are we looking at? Where does this come from? Padding. Is it also margin? It's also margin. So cool. That at least looked a bit better. I would love it if these were less indented. So let's take a look at the tree. Looks like we can change a whole lot of stuff. Templating. But in the documentation, let's see if we have something that tells us about styles. Can add classes. Right, and this is all the filtering, lazy loading. That's not what I'm interested at right now. See, it looks like this is a list of all the properties. All the events. Well, that's all not what we're looking at. So let's go with the first one. Style. Let's probably just add some style and override the behavior. So to get an idea, what I want to achieve is get rid of the area on the side here, which is most likely living here. Yeah, there you go. This button has a room on the side. So what is the thing that I actually want to get rid of here, or want to make smaller? Is it this one? Well, margin right gets out a little bit of it. Let's open this a bit more. Okay, let's see, margin left 0. So you can go wrong with adding a little border. So here, this has the width. Yeah, this is more the look that I'm after. In the end, it might be that this tree is not what I'm after at all. If it has too much styling, I generally tend to hold off using it and rather roll my own solution. There you go, this padding is one of the culprits. So the P3 has a large padding, so I think for now, just to be a bit pragmatic, I'm just gonna say get rid of padding here. And that's, for now, that's already helping out, making it look better. And there might be similar rules on here. So we have a tree item. What more do we have? Tree node children. So yeah, there's probably various places where we can shape off a bit of padding. Tree items seems to be light on the padding. Yeah, it's not going to be a big win. So the most of it is going to be inside here. So the P3 node content has half a rem padding. Yeah, there you go. This is way more what I'm after. So let's also do this. Basically also set it to null. And then this already looks better than it did before. Well, this doesn't get applied. Let's take a quick look why that is. But then, okay, let's consider this one 0. Probably need to add important. And then afterwards, we need to figure out why this one is still so wide. And specifically, this one might be the PI fixed width. But also, I'd like to try not to change too much with these global overrides. So let's just add an important here. If this gives us the, there you go. Okay. I'm going to leave it as is for now, and I'm going to reconsider if this is what I want to use. Now, what I do know, though, is that I want some messages here, and let me take a look if there's something inside PrimeNG that can help us with this. It might be a virtual scroller. It might be a virtual scroller at some point, because these things can have a lot of data. But what I'm actually also interested in how, if they offer something to build these list items, like a media object or something similar. But it looks like this is just a regular old div with some classes added to it, which is fine. There's this virtual scroller that can do the scrolling. Quick search for media. Media is just a carousel and a gallery, which is not what we're after. And then block UI, let's see what's block. Okay, block UI is not what we're after. Looks like I need to refresh the page to unblock it. Let me quickly go here and search for the theme that we were looking at. There you go. So we get that one right away. And here inside data, this is not what we're looking for. Simple card, this is also not what I'm looking for. Messages, there we go. Okay, yeah, this is just messages like these. This is not the messages in chat. Yep, we're gonna roll around with an avatar, and I don't think there's an avatar either. That's totally fine. You always have to build your own elements that go with it. I like how it's doing this one, the loading indicators. And that might very well be a property of this virtual scrolling list. So if we take a look at the source here, yep, it's lazy. And then we have a loading item here. So that's actually pretty nice. So for our chat app, I'm gonna get rid of all of these things from the sidebar. Everything that's not in the general box. Yes, I'm probably gonna get rid of this sidebar element for this use case at some point, but for now, I'm gonna run with it. And then I wanna make sure that general chat is open by default, so expanded equals true. And this should do something on click. Now, what the something that we want to do, first see what kind of click handlers do we have, what kind of actions are there. On select, what I want to do. Select item, and the event is most the actual item. Create the method, and for now, log it out. And then if I click it, cheers, James. Catch you later. Thanks for dropping by, man. Appreciate it. This didn't really work directly on node select. Maybe it's selection change. Interesting. Let's read the actual documentation, because that's what it's for. We want to be here in tree, documentation, and then look in the source here. So they don't really append anything to this part of it. Then selectable. Okay, selection. You can set the selection mode property. Well, what we want to do is at least have a single select mode. Might be the default, but let's be explicit. Selection mode equals single. And then the selection is being kept by a select file property. Okay. So let's not call it selected file, but selected item. And let's create this field selected item, and that's of a tree node. And then for good measures, let's just print it out below the tree. And I like to use the tree tag for these kind of things. Selected item dot label. Now we should see if we can get this. Cannot read label undefined. Yes, that's sure. Gonna do the question mark here. Then there we go. We now have both working. Selection. Okay, this is pretty nice. Now let me check something, and that is if I can just run these on the top level or not. And I totally can. Okay, that's pretty nice, actually. This is pretty nice. Let's not bother with it for now, but it's good to know that I can. So for those of you watching, I need to take a little quick break, and I will be right back with y'all. I'll be back in 2 minutes. And I'm back. That was a quick little break. So let's go ahead and see if we can get some more useful stuff in here. Where were we? So yes, we have 3 channels here. And so I actually want to use component store for this app. Maybe some more ArcGIS, but I think the component store would be pretty cool to keep this state of the sidebar and probably the state of one list of messages. So yeah, but first up, I think I'm just gonna say a new action. Let's call it select channel is event emitter. It's a new event emitter of type 3 node. There we go. And we can say select channel and this dot select channel dot emit event, and let's call this one here item. There we go. And then in our main component, what we want to do is on select channel. Oh, I need to make that first. Decorate it with the output decorator, which is a method that gets imported from Angular Core. And in this HTML, I now get a select channel 1, and this select channel 1 is gonna be created here. Channel, which is 3 nodes. Pass through the event, obviously, and that should do it. Yep. Okay. Let's also take the opportunity and make this channels. Here's channels. I'm gonna get an input here called channels, which is type 3 node array, default by an empty array. So get these ones out into the main component TS for now. Channels is this. That's not what I wanted to do. I just want to paste in the whole blob and change the word items to channels. There we go. So now this is happy, that is happy, and then inside our message sidebar, the value of this thing is actually channels. And with that, I should have a pretty clean sidebar. Let's get rid of the things I don't need. I also don't need select item. Do everything with the select item. So let's get rid of selection. Let's get rid of the select item here. And now we can pass in the items and have them popped out. So let's call this one selected channel. Create a field here, make this for now a 3 node. And once we have a selected channel, we say this dot selected channel, selected channel equals channel. There we go. And now we should have it passed up to the main component. Yep, there you go. Okay, we want it to be, let's get the label. And let's make it optional. So there we go. And now we have the channel outside of the component here. Cool beans. Now the messages, what we want to do here is let's add a message header on top that shows where we are, which channel we are. And then the list of messages itself and a message form, which is where we enter the new messages. So I'm going to quickly create these components. And I'm going to use this command again. So we're going to have the message header. And for now, that's going to be it. So what I'd like to do here is say message header and pass in the title of selected channel.label. And this one needs to be exported, that's fine. And title here. So this is one of the nasty things of using title as an input. It will not error out if you don't actually have the input. Anyway, still going to run with it. So let's say here channel, this is the channel title. So channel title. And then again here we need to say safely use that one. So that seems to work, and now when we change one, we actually want to load in the messages here as well. So what I'm going to do is, one thing I need to check here is that in message module now, the tree module got loaded, and this is something that IDE did for me, but I don't want it this way. I want my Prime stuff, or most of my Prime stuff, exported from the UI module I have. So this right here, let's see at PrimeNG tree module. So there we go. Cool. So let's do a quick commit here and say what we actually do here. Get status. We added add layout to message. So cool. Then once that's done, what we want to do is create a service, and I'm just going to put it here next to the message module, message.service.ts, and I'm going to have it export class message service. It's going to be an injectable, and I'm going to provide it inside our message module here, which is its sibling, message service. Nope, message service comes from sibling file. Now, and at that, this is also the point where I'm going to make a few models. So I'm going to create channel.ts and say export class channel has a label, which is a string, has a key, which is a string, and afterwards it can have anything it likes. Let's call this unknown. I think that's the best thing. So this way it's compatible with the sidebars, with the tree nodes I actually wanted to work with. which means that I can say, okay, you know what, channels, just channel array. And this one also just emit a channel. On select channel, emit a channel. So we can get rid of the 3 nodes here. And we should not have, okay. Let's import UI module here. Now we shouldn't have any errors and this should just work. So we now have a list of channels, and another place where we want to do this is in the main page. In the main page here. So in the main page component, we also have the 3 nodes. Now let's see if there's something more that we want on this. So the key that we're interested in, it's label for the representation. Key is the internal ID. And for now that's it. So I'm just going to leave our channel a key label there. Now inside the main component, it's actually kind of, because we have this expanded being true, so this will be the category. And get rid of these icons for now and the data. Yep, yes, this looks more like it. Cool, and give these all a name, a key property. Let's do alphabetic order. Key is their value. And then we have categories. I don't really care about data here as well. These also have a key, so this will be general, category general, and these have expanded true or false. So let's create a category here. And category has everything that channel has. But it also has expanded. Expanded is a Boolean. And it can have children, of course, which is an array of channels. So there we go. And now I should be able to type this one being a category array, and this should all still be valid. So that's cool. So then these can be a channel. And we've all basically renamed the functionality. In a sense, you can say we wrapped around this component, because we now no longer have references to PrimeNG in our layout, and it still works as expected. So this is what I like. Let's pass in channel here straight away. So let's say channel equals selected channel. That's the TypeScript. Doesn't have to create, so input channel of type channel. Call this one channel.label, and just in small add channel.key next to it, so we have a visual clue of the thing is actually being loaded. We can get rid of this. We don't need it. Now, with that out of the way, I'm here. And let's make sure that these are safely accessed by using the question mark, or the Elvis operator, as it's called. So without further ado, let's test it out. Suggestions. Okay, this still works as expected. And the categories and labels actually should come from the service. So let's start out with that in the message service. Let's make a categories array, category array. Let's do behavior subject, category sub equals new behavior subject of type category array. Sorry. It needed a generic category array and the value is null. And then let's in the constructor set this dot category sub dot next and say default categories Gonna have these up here, category array with the values coming from main component. There we go. So now we no longer need this one, and the reason I do this is that we can start working with the service. Make sure that that service exposed and observable. So once we re-implement how these messages are actually stored by using NGRX, we don't have to change the components, or we shouldn't have to change the components. I'm going to inject the service here, message service from 2 folders up. And what I'm then going to do is say this dot categories $ equals this dot service dot categories $, which both do not exist. So let's create it in the service first. Categories $ is this dot category sub dot as observable. So take the observable value from the behavior subject, explicitly mark this private, and have that one help us create this observable category. And I want to make this one public, so I can go to my main component, and inside channels here, what I actually want to do is say categories and pipe it through async. I think categories is the better name because it's a selection of categories. So let's change this one to categories. Let's change this one to categories, and this one to category array, and then this one as well, categories. Let's hope that that still works. It does. Nice. So cool. That's one. So main component no longer needs the channels. Select the channel. Let's also move this one to the message server. So I'm going to new selected sub is the behavior subject of a single channel. Let's call it selected channel sub. Let's be verbose here. Now this one is something that we actually want to do. We have a public method that sets it, or basically selects it. Select the channel, which takes a channel, and in the method we say this dot select the channel sub dot next channel. And of course, we need to have a subservable, and observable selected channel observable is this dot select the channel sub dot as observable. So this is the one we can subscribe to. This is the way we can select one, and we're having more data being led into the service, which is always a good idea. So this selected channel is created, which is an observable channel. Let's make it public. Let's get rid of this one. And in the main component HTML, subscribe to the selected channel using the async operator. And lastly, here we don't want to set the channel directly. We want to say this dot service dot select channel, pass in the channel. There we are. Now with this, it should all still work. Yay. Okay, one thing I'd like to do for now is we eventually want to have some way to select the default channel, or like store whatever channel you were on when you visit the page again. For now though, I think I want to show an indication if there's nothing loaded. To make this easy, it's called messages here as well. So let's see. It needs the message module. So let's go ahead and go to our PrimeNG service, PrimeNG. can make this smaller. But this is the one. So we want to look at messages module. Let's get it in here. Messages module. And then in our message list, where is it here? I think it's here. So what I'm going to do is add an ng container here, and this is one way to handle this. It's not the best way. There's downsides to this, but let's not bother with it too much. So I'm going to say if selected channel async as selected, and that gives me the selected channel right here. Else, and we want to basically have a template with the no channel identifier. So we're going to say ng template hashtag no channel and do a friendly message. Please select channel, and this is most likely a P message. Yep, seems like it. And in order to use this one, we need to go to the main module here and import our UI module, not the message module, UI module. Right. Please select channel. Let's open quickly UI module, PrimeNG module, message module is passing those out. The main component, let's open main module.ts, message module, that's the one from there, and UI module should be available as well. Interesting. Looks like these two are biting each other. Let's not bother with it for now. Let's just run with this. Please select the channel 1. And then once I select the channel, I get into the channel. So next thing up is based on if we have a selected channel, load this in with messages. And these messages is where we're going to use the scrollable component for. And what would be the most realistic is that every channel has their own different messages, distinct messages. So let me check how I'm going to do this inside the message service. I think we should eventually just have a messages observable that we can subscribe to, and that shouldn't really the heavy lifting should be happening here. So basically, after selecting a channel, we need to make sure that these messages are returning the right one. So what might be the case, what I want to do, combine latest. Actually, I don't even need to combine latest. I'm just going to subscribe to select channel. And for now, add a tab operator. That basically just gives me some momentum here to do something. And this is the channel, so I can select the chan.key. And based on this key, we can return in the message array, we can return a message. So if we would have a get message .get messages, and it takes in a channel ID of string, and this will return an observable of message. And I'm gonna get a model message in here, message.ts, message, the message text, and the created at, which is a date. And then they're all optional, just to make it easy. Let's also get in a key that can be anything. So what this will do is return an observable of messages. So of message array actually, not that one. An observable of message array, and we'll have message one. Let's say the message text is message one for channel, and add the channel ID. I'm actually going to make this template string, and created that as new date now, or date dot now dot. That's it. It needs to be new date. So here we go, and then actually this is going to be a simple helper. So I'm going to say function message. This takes an ID and the channel. We even need it. We don't even need it. Just an ID, and have this one be the ID. So let's even call it count, which is a number. Make this message.count plus count string, and use that template string inside as well. And this way we can just say, okay, give me message 1, 2, 3. Make sure this is a number. And with these, what I'm going to do is add a switch map here. And the switch map takes the channel and returns this.get messages with the channel.key. And now if we subscribe to messages, it should automatically change whenever the selected channel gets changed. So we can say, get a messages out here, create it, import this thing, and make sure that it's not private. Then in our template here, we can go to main component. My shortcuts stopped working. I don't like that. And here, subscribe to it. So we can say messages equals messages $async. Now this will complain because we don't have messages here, but we will in a second. Message array. And this is an input. So we pass in the input decorator. And then here, what we're going to do is say ng4. Let message of messages, and simply get in here message.text. And let's be nice to ourselves and also give the ID and the semicolon. And with this in place, we should now see messages that are loaded. There we go. It all works. Great. I'm checking why this thing is red. Cannot find name on init. This is not really relevant. Might be that TypeScript server is again. What's the error message here? We have an error in the server. Now this all looks to be correct. Okay, home, go to chat here. There's something wrong. I'm gonna dumply start and stop and start server again. But just in case that fixes it, and I'm totally fine with it being fixed. At this moment, I don't really care. It's experimental phase. Hey, we have another viewer again. We're back at 2. Dear viewer, please reveal yourself. You're so welcome here. This is BEEMAN.DEV Saturday night live stream. I'm playing with Angular, NX, PrimeNG, and Formally. But we haven't seen Formally yet. We might add Formally. Let's add Formally in a second. So there we go. This seems to work. And you can see if we select a different channel gets represented, or at least the messages from a different channel get represented. It's a bit messy right now, so let me quickly go ahead and think for now wrap these in a pre-formatted tag, just like this. And now we refresh and we click on one of the items and we see, okay, it's down here, but it's at least is clearer. And what happens when we look at the full screen version of this? Then go to chat. Then we see that this all works as expected. So cool. Now, one of the things I'd like to add here is probably use this same bar here in the top. That it at least looks a bit more official. So let's open the header component here and the header component from the UI library as a reference. And this is called PMenuBar. So in our header component here, we're going to say PMenuBar. Model is items. What I actually want to do is give it a label. There's no such thing as label, simply might be just an item. Let me quickly go over the documentation here and look up menu bar. Ja hoor, Paco! Jesus, dude! Die had ik niet verwacht. Okay. So, let's move back to English. But yeah, must have seen me on YouTube, right? This is so cool. Look, Mom, I'm famous. Paco here. So, actually, so yeah, Paco, while you're here, I'm rebuilding a chat app and live streaming in the process. So here we're going to have our chat channels similar to Discord. You probably know Discord. Here we're going to have our chat channels, and then in the main area we're going to have our messages, and then some more default pages. And I'm playing around with it to figure out how the F that all works using this PrimeNG library. Let's also check these ones. This is all not what I want. Maybe this is what I want. Thanks, Paco. Yes, I started streaming like last Sunday. Spontaneously, more or less. A few friends of mine on Twitter were streaming and I liked it. So since then, I started doing 5 streams. So if after all you want to start learning programming, Paco, because I know it has been postponing for years and years. Yeah, Discord is or was actually mainly for gaming, but we nerds like it as well. So have the breadcrumb module here and then copy over the breadcrumb from this one. Go over the source, items, and home is home. Okay, so take that one here. Take this one here. As you can see, I'm not even programming myself. I'm just copy pasting the whole bunch. I'm kidding. That's what all the developers do. So this one's going to be here. And this one is going to be right here. Get rid of this. Find this one. And now we should at least see the header, the breadcrumbs. There you go. Then what I'm actually interested in is getting only the channel name. So let's make this a getter. Let's leave home as it is. Get items, which returns a menu item array. And that's gonna return an array with one item. And this label is going to be this.channel.label and make this save. Access this one, save. And there we should have channel suggestions. There you go. Let's look up in the widescreen version. Please select the channel suggestions, water cooler. A cute little home button. Yeah, so for now, this looks like something that can work. Rid of these ones, and then for now, this is it for our message header. And yeah, so Paco is a gamer himself. Paco's a buddy of mine from way back in the days, and he probably saw my stream because he might follow me on YouTube, I think. But yeah, Twitch is very handy for streaming as well. Actually, I started out with Twitch, and then I had some issues with the tools I was using, so I'm basically experimenting. Right now I'm using StreamYard. You can see the icon all the way up in the top in the other corner. And streaming it live to YouTube, I can stream to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So I might start experimenting with that as well. But hey, cool. So we have our sidebar. We have our categories and we load in messages. So the last thing I'm probably going to do for this session, at least, is, because how long am I in? 2 hours. That's my longest stream up until now. I'm going to get the list of items here. And that's going to be what we're looking at. Ah, yes, virtual scroller. I'm going to use this virtual scroller here. And this should give us a nice fancy way of loading these things. So PrimeNG module, virtual scroller, add it to the modules here. And inside our messages, we need to load them in. You know what? I'm just going to take the source code. Again, copy-paste driven development. We don't really care. Let's go with the pre-populated list. There's a whole bunch of classes and some code. Let's see if we can get this running quickly. So inside the messages component, I'm still not really happy with the name, but that's what we're at right now. I'll change it to TSX now, thanks. Okay, let's be a little bit less lazy and let's see what we need to do. So we need to start out with a virtual scroller. And this virtual scroller takes a product. So in our case, it's going to be messages. Then we're going to have a template. That's the header. Inside here we have a drop down. I'm not really interested in the drop down. I think then inside the actual template we loop over the items. So we're gonna say let product. Okay, there's something wrong with the example code here, and I think it's these ones are the other way around. But let's not bother. Let's do it manually. We're getting paid to do it manually, right? Yeah, so this is where I want to show any message. So I'm going to call it not product, but let message, and then just say message.text. And this should give us back to the position where we are right now. Yep, we have here a list of messages. So we can get rid of these ones. And that's this part here. And let's also get rid of the header for now. And then inside the template, actually I want the scroll height to be item size. I want the item size to be smaller. So I want the item size to be, I think, 60 pixels. And this should give us a better idea of what it looks like. Yay, there you go. So another look at the example. Actually, this header is the header that I just tried to implement. And we can have this lazy one. And we can have a loading item. I'm curious if I just add this loading item one, if that will work, if that will start loading, show the loading indicator directly. So let's add the loading item and just say here, loading. That would be pretty cool if this is all what it needs. Well, and I need to delay. Yes, thank you, Pascal. It's this is the whole goal: sharing my knowledge, getting out what's in this big head of mine, and helping other people around, inspire them to do some stuff, to experiment. So yeah, thanks a bunch, man. Appreciate your support, and I really appreciate you jumping by. That's pretty cool. You don't have to be a developer to enjoy seeing other people do stuff. So let's make this lazy true, and let's add a delay to how we actually fetch these messages. So I should be able to go back to my service, and in my service add a simple delay to this thing here. So we're going to delay, let's say, 300 milliseconds. And then if it's going to be loading, it will load with a short delay. So there we go. It will load with a short delay, so that now works. And another thing I want to do is before I load, so before starting, I actually want to set the messages to 0. So basically, I don't think this is really possible with my current setup. So I probably need another behavior subject for the messages, but I'm not going to bother with that right now. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with it right now. I'm happy with what I have right here. What I would like to figure out is Channel.key is not a number. Key doesn't exist on any or channel. You mean keys? No, I don't mean keys, I mean key. It's this one that got in the way. Let's get rid of it. So scroll height, let's set here 100% and see if that changes something. Okay, now it needs to have a fixed width, fixed height. Okay, for now this works. Let me do one more lazy attempt on getting this loader working. So what is this loading item? What's up with that? Unload lazy. Okay, unload lazy. We have this items. This is for fetching more data. Yeah, before the next session that I'm going to continue with this Beehive chat, I'm going to check out what I'm actually doing. So we don't have to go through the documentation together. But yeah, this is the very, very bare bones starting point of this chat. And with that, I'm going to leave it for tonight. The live stream, BEEMAN.DEV Saturday night live stream, Angular, NX, PrimeNG, and formerly we have my special guest, Pascal. That's super nice. Thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate your support. And then, yeah, I'll push this one up. So let me quickly make a commit and add list of messages using virtual scroller. So committing this change, pushing them up to GitHub, and then everybody should be able to download this and play around with it. Start a repo. Give me a pull request if you have something interested. So it's on GitHub, beeman/beehive-chat. Here you can figure it out. I'm going to start it myself to give you all the good example. And with that, it's going to be a wrap for tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. This was BEEMAN.DEV Saturday Night Live Stream, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.